Sunlight that always stays, dinner by the waterway. It's that sweet life. Raise your cross. Made some dude crack a smile. He asked if I could stay a while. I'm living that high life. Time to catch a flight, but you can make me go. Unlocking all the memories of my own. Ventilated echoes playing to and fro, back and forth, yeah. Caught some kids dancing in the alleyway. Crazy how the melodies began to play, yeah. Tell me how you feeling when you hear the lyric, yeah. My heart's in Stockholm. Now I never wanna go home. I left my heart in Stockholm. Now I never wanna go home. Shopping the girl, I brought a girl on my Vespa. She said I already told you, yeah, girl. I never dated a black guy. I said you're brown yourself. Let me offer help. Come on inside. Where everybody knows your name. Everybody knows your name. Time to catch a flight, but you can make me go. Unlocking all the memories of mine own. Ventilated echoes playing to and fro, back and forth, yeah. Caught some kids dancing in the alleyway. Crazy how the melodies began to play, yeah.
All right, good morning, everybody. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Nathan Ivey with you. What's up to the choppers? Hey, good morning, everybody inside the Chop Shop. Hey, good morning, Facebook. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, world. And listen, let's get started in about 45 seconds. Many things going on. We got a brand new sponsor for today's show that I'm very excited to present to you this morning. Black business owner. And you'll see the ad go up and the promo go up. I'll say it like this, a good way of supporting me. And direct support is always great, but also supporting the good folks that we work with that promote this platform, to understand the power of independent media, to understand that the power of independent media that's focused on the Black community, on our community. So again, we're very excited about today's show. Today is Inauguration Day. Damn near feels like it's a national holiday, huh? I'm kind of missing Trump. Can I say that? Kind of missing him already. Damn, he was good for a lot of media. Will Biden be as exciting? I don't think so. But in all that and more, plus we got a special guest coming up on the Zoom, local entrepreneur, a young local entrepreneur. We'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. So again, we'll get started in 45 seconds. I want to give you a couple seconds to like and share today's show. Don't go anywhere. Cincinnati's first daily digital talk show that focuses on the Black community will be live in about 45 seconds.
Living in Stockholm. I never wanna go home. I'm living in Stockholm.
The Nathan Ivey Show is supported by listeners. Go to www.patreon.com/Nathan Ivey Show and help Nathan keep the show independent. You're listening to The Nathan Ivey Show. One man, one microphone, one mission. Now let's get back to the flow.
Yeah. Talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a fuck, that's what they don't understand.
I'm back again like flu season. I broke records while loose leafing. I'm coming down my roof, leaving. Don't give a fuck, I don't care. Did the for my lonesome. No wonder now I'm on one. No shortcuts on that long run. All I really want is my share. Get on my God, on my totem is nothing. In the discussion, for the feelings I throw on my pain on percussion. The disgusting. I hear them bragging about that they did, and it do not move me, not in the least. They ain't been dropping no seeds in the soil, but swear that you almost spotted the feast.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. Nathan Ivey with you. Let's put the graphic up for today's show to give you a sense of where I plan on taking the show. As I said, many things to discuss. As always, Biden, Karens, and options. Biden to be inaugurated today. What does that mean for the country? What does that mean for the so-called national Black agenda? I got a viral video for you of a Karen being dragged to hell. And Lori Harvey has options. See her on the right there? Oh, she took your fantasy file material, huh? Oh, I know that dude is in all the ladies' fantasy file. He is taken. He's taken. You can't have him. She got him now. It is what it is. Doing something new this morning with the stream. I decided I'd put up the chat up on the stream. Let you check it out for yourself this morning. Good morning to you. Happy good morning to you, Brenda. She writes happy Wednesday. Cinnamon writes good morning this fine day. David writes feels like happy new year all over again. Is that right? Danita writes good morning everyone. Smile because you are in the land of the living and that is a blessing. Oh, it most certainly is. It most certainly is a blessing. Billy writes hump day morning everybody. Good morning to you. Let me go all the way to the beginning here. Let me go back to the beginning. How are you? Oh, yes, the chat's coming in. Good morning, everybody. Kelly, Brenda, Cinnamon. Charles writes, Grand Risings, Nate and the Choppers. 45 is taking half a day on his last day. Good riddance. He is taking half a day. That's hilarious. I'm going to miss old Trumpster, man. Damn. I'm going to miss old Trumpster. Trumpster was, I'm going to go ahead and say it, man. Trumpster was good for business. He was good for the media. We, the media, whether they admit it or not, are going to miss him. Now, for the country, dude got to go. But for the media, dude was good for the media. Oh, he was so good for us. He was so good for us. He gave us something to talk about. He was saying some ridiculous stuff every day. Every day he was on some dumb-ish. And that gave us plenty to talk about. So I'll miss him from that regard, but I say good riddance. Don't let the door hit you with a good Lord split you. That's what my grandparents used to say. Bye, boo. What they say these days. Boy, bye. We'll holler at you, man. Hold on one second. I need to share this with our upcoming guests. There it is. There it is. Yeah. We got a guest coming on. An entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur is coming on the show this morning and looking forward to it. So we'll do that. That'll be a Zoom interview. Yesterday, man, the show was packed. We had interviews from the beginning all the way to the end. We started with Kelly Prather, and then we talked with Michelle Dillingham, and then we talked with Iris Rowley, Chris Silbach, and a member of OJCP. I forget the woman's name. Naaman is her last name. Naaman. And they talked about some things that are going to be happening today, which I'm going to go over again just to make sure everybody gets it. You know, very important information. I don't want you to forget it. On today's show, man, we got a lot of things to talk about, as I keep saying, so we might as well just get right to it, shall we? And we're already doing it. Let me take the overlay off just for a second. There it is. So again, before we get started, please like and share today's show. Again, when you share the show, more people see it. It's super, super important. What the hell's going on with these elbows, man? Making sure I'm looking right on the cam. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Trump's out of here, man. And it's going to be historic today. Where my AKAs at? AKAs is happy. The wifey is an AKA. So AKAs are happy. The ladies with the pearls are happy because, you know, one of their sorority sisters is going to be the first ever woman of color to be elected to be the vice president. And today is today. What does this mean for a national black agenda? What does this mean for you, no matter where you live in the country? What does this mean exactly? Okay, Biden's taking over for Trump, but what does that really mean? And should we be expecting some fireworks? Not sure if you saw the stream last night. I know a lot of people did. I thought that Fast Pitch had a good show last night, Valet Service. She was asking a very interesting question about today, sort of projecting forward, you know, asking about the what you think is going to happen today. And did what happened at the Capitol inspire any patriotism inside of you? Which I thought was a very interesting question. She got a lot of response. I know some of you were in that stream last night as well. So I really appreciate you. Before we get started, I just want to say, if you are a creator or a creative, perhaps we can work together. You know, CDM is looking to expand our roster and our repertoire of services and our impact here in the community. And so to do so, we're looking to work with creators and creatives, maybe someone like you, maybe someone you know. You can direct message me and I will respond today and we'll set up a time to connect, most certainly. So I'm also looking for people who are audio editors, maybe videographers, maybe you're a graphic designer. Hey, maybe you super dope with the pen and the paper or the keyboard. I mean, people don't write anymore. That's old school, right? Maybe you're a super dope writer, okay? Maybe you're a super dope media strategist. You know, maybe that's what your forte is. Perhaps we can work together to build something beautiful in our community. We're just getting started. So again, hit me with a direct message and I will respond immediately. I want to hear from you. As I said, we also have a new sponsor this morning. I want to share that with you. You know, we all about supporting and promoting black businesses, and this platform does reach people 100%. So I just want to take a quick moment, a word from our sponsor this morning. Check this out. Otis Wellborn Jr. is a realtor who operates here in Cincinnati and beyond. You can give him a call this morning at 513-252-1055.
It's that well-born experience. It's that well-born experience. The well-born experience. Experience. It's that well-born experience. Yeah, the well-born experience. Yeah, that well-born experience. Experience. Tell us what what you need? That's the question we start with. We specialize selling condos, houses, apartments. Make sure that you happy with your residence. Keep it real, no filter. Oh, it's the realtor from the nattiest heaven sent. It's the well-born experience. Ain't nothing like it. Every time he talk to his client, he's so excited just knowing he able to put them in a place to lay their head. Not focusing on his profits, but on the client instead. Right. He keeps it so professional and from his conversation. You can tell he studies before sharing information. Educated, motivated, ain't nobody better. Who's willing to walk you through every step to relieve the pressure? Yeah, and just so you know it's real, you get a special personalized rug once he closes the deal. So go and call him up so he can get you live. 513-252-1055.
That's the Wellborn Experience. If you want that Wellborn Experience, 513-252-1055. Dope rhymes. You can also Gmail Team Wellborn. That's WELLBORN@gmail.com. And you can visit their website this morning at 3dubs.thewellbornexperience.com. All right. And you hear more about it on the show and throughout the weeks to follow. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Shout out to the Wellborn Experience this morning. All right. As I said, many things to discuss. Let's get straight back into it. Biden, Karens, and options. That's what I want to talk about. Biden, Karens, and options. Are you expecting for something to pop off this morning or today? Are you aware of what Donald Trump is preparing? Did you get a chance to see any of his speech, his last speech, in which he claimed ultimate victory? He said, we came to do a certain job and we accomplished it. I'm not sure what that was. He never built that wall. Build that wall. Build that. Didn't build that wall. Didn't build. There's no wall. The border is in the same spot it was in before he got there. What exactly is the legacy of Donald Trump, in your opinion? Will it be ultimately a positive legacy or a negative legacy? Now, some might say, Nate, are you serious with this question? I mean, come on now, let's be real here. But yeah, I want to put it out there to you. I mean, why shouldn't we talk about this? We in this country too. What do you think the overall, if you had to describe Trump's legacy in one or two words, what would it be? What would it be? Would it be an overall positive legacy or a negative legacy? What will be Trump's legacy with the Black community in particular? Are you doing better today than you were 4 years ago? Are you doing about the same? Do you feel the same way about your future today as you did 4 years ago? Is your mama and them doing better today as they was 4 years ago? You tell me. You tell me. 513-873-7134. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, I want to hear them. You got thoughts? I want to hear them. I want to hear them. Good morning. Is your mom and them doing better? Your cousins, your brothers, your sister and them, everybody doing better or doing worse, doing the same? How do you feel about your possibilities in this country? I don't know. How do you feel about the country in general? I want to get your thoughts about it. Again, 513-873-7134. If you want to share, your thoughts this morning, I'd love to hear them. I would love to hear some of these messages. It's hilarious. Y'all wild, man. Y'all wild. Let me jump inside the chop shop and say, what's up, choppers? What up? What up? Ray writes here. Tanika writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Sharp writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Ashley writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Pat writes, good morning. Tracy writes, hi. The Minister of Information writes, what's up, Nate? Brenda writes, happy Wednesday. Fox writes, rise and shine, young stars. Cassandra writes, hey, Choppers. What's up, Cassandra? What's up with everybody? How are you? Hold on, let me clear some of this stuff off of here. I still got some stuff up here from last night that I want to clear out so I don't mistakenly, flash the wrong lower third. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but it would be inconsistent. And I want to be consistent. There it is. That's my number. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, good morning to everybody. What up with you, Joe? Joe writes, morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. April writes, blessings to all. Alicia writes, guys, morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Ladies, do you have your chucks and pearls ready? What? We got some AKAs in the house? Well, ski we then. Yeah. Like I told you, the wifey's AKA, so we all about that life. Kamikia writes, happy inauguration day. Also, now it's happy inauguration day. Now that Trump's no longer going to be in office. Y'all better leave Trump alone, man. We're going to miss Trump. Trump was good. What was Trump good for? Trump was good for laughs. That motherfucker was dangerous, but he was good for laughs. Speaking of laughs, have you heard about his final hours in terms of his presidential pardons? That's right. If you don't know it, Trump pardoned Lil Wayne and Kodak Black. And then he pardoned a whole lot of people that he probably shouldn't have pardoned, but that's his prerogative. He's the president, including people that lied to the FBI and kept their mouths closed as it relates to the Russian scandal. See, say one thing about Trump. Trump was the first crime family. Well, I won't say he was the first, but he's the head of the Trump crime family. I believe wholeheartedly. And again, once Biden takes over and then Biden's people are able to go through the papers and figure it out, I guarantee you that we're going to start to hear a whole lot of things that we never heard before that Trump was hiding. I bet you all kind of stuff's going to come out that happened during the Trump administration that we didn't know before, including about the Russia investigation. From the outside looking in, reading Trump, the information that's available, I 100% believe in my heart that Trump was colluding with the Russians just to win, because he seems like that kind of dude. I mean, he was the kind of dude that would incite an armed mob to take over the Capitol. He was the kind of dude that would call and put pressure on, the Secretary of State in Georgia to try to get him to come up with 12,000 votes from somewhere. So he's the kind of dude that would work with foreign actors, foreign agents on his own behalf. I mean, Trump might have been, at least in modern day times, on the surface, the most self-serving president that we've ever seen in our entire life, in our adult life. On the surface, completely consumed and narcissistic about himself. And the way Trump worked is the way that humans work. You rock with me, I rock with you. You protect me, I protect you. That's the reason why Paul Manafort never talked to the FBI. That's the reason why Papadopoulos, who started the whole Russian investigation off because he was talking slick and greasy, as fame might say, or in an Australian bar. That's how the whole Russian investigation started. They want you to believe, they want you to think it has something to do with the Steele dossier. No. Papadopoulos was working on the Trump transition campaign. He was talking reckless in a bar, literally talking reckless about how the Trump campaign is working with the Russians. Somebody overheard it. It got back to the U.S. intelligence service, and that's how it all started. He got a pardon too. He got a pardon because he lied to the FBI, which is a crime, and he kept his mouth shut. And Trump, the crime family, Don, the godfather of the Trump crime family, he came through. He came through. Same thing with Lil Wayne. What did Lil Wayne do? Lil Wayne took a picture with Donald Trump, basically giving an endorsement right before the election. Lil Wayne got millions upon, he's an influencer on a big level. He's a huge influencer. He just got paid off too. I think he caught a gun charge recently, last year, a federal gun charge. Kodak Black was in federal prison. I don't know what he was in prison for exactly, but he got a pardon as well. He spoke out, or at least there was some images released about Donald Trump. So what you see here is that Donald Trump is taking care of the people that took care of him. That's basic. That's basic right there. Take care of the people that take care of you. Period. Basic human nature. I'm telling you. People said that Trump, he may not be book smart, but he's people smart. Trump may not have been book smart, but he was most certainly people smart. No doubt about it. So yeah, you get a pardon. Steve Bannon got a pardon. You get a pardon. You get a pardon. It's like Oprah. You get a car. You get a car. You get a pardon. You get a pardon. Kwame Kilpatrick got a pardon, the former black man, this former disgraced mayor of Detroit. Let me see. A lot of folks, man. A lot of folks got pardons. Adam Schiff wrote, during the Mueller investigation, Trump's lawyer floated a pardon to Manafort. Manafort withdrew his cooperation from prosecutors, lied, was convicted, And then Trump praised him for not ratting, and then he just got pardoned. He writes, lawless until the bitter end. I would agree with that. Trump never saw a law that he wasn't willing to break. That was Trump's style. I want to do what I want to do. So I don't care if it's against, procedure or what the norm is. I don't care if people think it's wrong and I get criticized. I don't care if it's illegal. We're going to do it, and then it'll be tied up in the courts. But while it's tied up in the courts, I'm doing what I want to do. That was Trump's style. What will be his legacy in your opinion is my question for you. Just something to think about. How many people are expecting some kind of violence today? Are you expecting violence? Well, all I know is that if you go to the Capitol with that violence, man, they waiting for you. I seen images of National Guard members sleeping on the ground outside the Capitol building. They is ready. They are finally going to treat this the way they would if it was black folks. Finally. And I'll be honest with you. I think that you're going to have some protests around the country. I think you have protests at the Capitol. I don't think it's going to get anywhere near what we saw a couple of weeks ago because I think they learned their lesson. Plus, D.C. is on lockdown and everybody's on edge. They're going to have snipers everywhere. They're going to have it's going to look like Ferguson. It's going to look like Ferguson. It's going to look like ground zero. And so what is Trump planning to do? Trump is not going to attend the inauguration today, breaking with tradition for the first time ever. He instead is going to have like a military-style send-off, right, this morning. And he's going to leave, him and Melania. They're going to leave, have their own made-for-TV moment because Trump is all about that. Again, there's a lot you can learn from Trump. If you're someone who's ever thinking about running for politics, you should be studying Trump. If you're someone that works as a strategist, then you should be analyzing Trump. And I know that they are. Strategists, they should be analyzing Trump. And rather than saying, oh, well, he's just a racist appealing to racists. Yeah, I believe that. But I think you should be digging deeper to figure out what is the tie that binds. Because whatever it is, it might be something you can recreate for your own campaign and or for, whatever you're trying to do. I'm just telling you. Smart people learn from what they see. Dumb people just tell themselves, I know, I got it all figured out, and they just keep going on. And we are very smart, intelligent people here on this show. No doubt about it, 100%. So Trump said that his movement is just getting started. Oh, boy, just getting started. We thought it was ending. Trump said his movement is just getting started, and I believe him. And he also seemed to have, I won't say he was backing away, but he was definitely trying to act a little, he was on better behavior. I'll say that much. Trump was definitely on better behavior. Let's check this out just a little bit. I'm not going to bore you with too much of this morning, but just maybe a few minutes or so we all on the same page.
4 years ago, I came to Washington as the only true outsider ever to win the presidency. I had not spent my career as a politician, but as a builder looking at open skylines and imagining infinite possibilities. I ran for president because I knew there were towering new summits for America just waiting to be scaled. I knew the potential for our nation was boundless as long as we put America first. So I left behind my former life and stepped into a very difficult arena, but an arena nevertheless with all sorts of potential if properly done. America had given me so much, and I wanted to give something back. Together with millions of hardworking patriots across this land, we built the greatest political movement in the history of our country. We also built the greatest economy in the history of the world. It was about America first because we all wanted to make America great again. We restored the principle that a nation exists to serve its citizens. Our agenda was not about right or left. It wasn't about Republican or Democrat, but about the good of a nation, and that means the whole nation. We produced not one, but 2 vaccines with record-breaking speed, and more will quickly follow. They said it couldn't be done, but we did it. They called it a medical miracle, and that's what they're calling it right now, a medical miracle. Another administration would have taken 3, 4, 5, maybe even up to 10 years to develop a vaccine. We did it in 9 months. Above all, we have reasserted the sacred idea that in America, the government answers to the people. Our guiding light, our North Star, our unwavering conviction has been that we are here to serve the noble, everyday citizens of America. Our allegiance is not to the special interests, corporations, or global entities. It's to our children, our citizens, and to our nation itself. As president, my top priority, my constant concern has always been the best interests of American workers and American families. I did not seek the easiest course. By far, it was actually the most difficult. I did not seek the path that would get the least criticism. I took on the tough battles, the hardest fights, the most difficult choices, because that's what you elected me to do. Your needs were my first and last unyielding focus. This, I hope, will be our greatest legacy. Together, we put the American people back in charge of our country. Now, as I leave the White House, I have been reflecting on the dangers that threaten the priceless inheritance we all share. As the world's most powerful nation, America faces constant threats and challenges from abroad. But the greatest danger we face is a loss of confidence in ourselves, a loss of confidence in our national greatness. A nation is only as strong as its spirit. We are only as dynamic as our pride. We are only as vibrant as the faith that beats in the hearts of our people. I fought for you. I fought for your family. I fought for our country. Above all, I fought for America and all it stands for, and that is safe, strong, proud, and free. Now, as I prepare to hand power over to a new administration at noon on Wednesday, I want you to know that the movement we started is only just beginning. There's never been anything like it. The belief that a nation must serve its citizens will not dwindle, but instead only grow stronger by the day. As long as the American people hold in their hearts deep and devoted love of country, then there is nothing that this nation cannot achieve. Our communities will flourish. Our people will be prosperous. Our traditions will be cherished. Our faith will be strong. And our future will be brighter than ever before. I go from this majestic place with a loyal and joyful heart, an optimistic spirit, and a supreme confidence that for our country and for our children, the best is yet to come. Thank you and farewell. God bless you. God bless the United States of America.
Did we maximize Trump? Did the black community, did we get the most out of Trump? Did we maximize his time in office? You know, as he was talking, I found myself thinking about Omarosa. I'm disappointed in Omarosa because we never got that bombshell that she said that she had. Yeah, she said she heard him say the N-word and she had tapes. We never heard the tapes. We never really got that from Omarosa. What happened to Omarosa? Where is she at right now? Did we have an opportunity with Trump? I thought it out there, but my answer is yes and no. I mean, anytime there's someone new or in any position, you have an opportunity. But I don't really think that the Trump administration was that concerned with Black America, in my opinion. You know, I think blacks for Trump were just nothing more than a way to try to get elected. That whole platinum plan, if he really cared about a black agenda, he would have put it in place in the first or second year of his administration. He wouldn't have waited until the very, very end. Where's Ice Cube at right now? And we need to see Cube stand up, man. Now was the time. Now's the fucking time, Cube. Go to Ice Cube on Twitter right now and see what he's got to say. You see, I'm a little disappointed in Cube. I'm gonna be honest with you because I'm on his Facebook page, and again, maybe he'll start posting stuff today. You know, maybe I give him that. But 13 hours ago, he's talking about Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. On the 15th, he posted something. Happy birthday to LL Cool J. But none about the black agenda. He was all about the black agenda right before the election, when we didn't know who the next president was going to be. We didn't know who the next administration was going to be. Now we know. Now's the effing time, Cube. Now's the time. You know what I'm saying? 2-3 weeks before the election, that's not the time. I'm on his timeline on Twitter right now, and I see a whole bunch of cool stuff, but I don't see nothing about the black agenda. It was all about the black agenda right before the election. Now there's nothing about it, but I'm sure he'll pick it back up. He's still got time. I'm just saying, you know me, I'm not the kind of person to not tell you I told you so. I'm not prepared to say anything about Cube right now. I'm just saying that we waiting, bud. We waiting, buddy. We want to see if you're going to be consistent. Or was this just a plot to try to get black people to vote for Trump? Like your boy Kodak Black and Lil Wayne. I don't know. We'll find out. I want to be optimistic. I'll reserve my thoughts and think the best. I'll reserve my thoughts and think the best. But what about you? What do you think? So I'm throwing a lot of questions out here. As things to think about. You know, for Biden, now's the effing time, Biden. You know, y'all had 19 pages with your black agenda. So what you gonna do, homie? I'm looking at the first 100 days. I don't see nothing from that black agenda on the first 100 days in terms of priorities. Y'all prioritizing everybody, but the people that put you in power is going to be a mistake. You don't come through for us, black voters, progressive voters will not come through for the Biden administration in 2 years and in 4 years because you need us. Y'all got a razor thin majority in the Senate, razor thin. The majority in Congress for the Democrats, that got even smaller. It's got even smaller. So the people are watching. Are there any redeeming qualities of Trump? Did Trump have any redeeming qualities? Now, I've talked to people that live in the greater Cincinnati area, and these individuals appear to be doing well. They're living right. They got money, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe millions of dollars. These are black men. And these black men have told me, like, hey, business is good. In terms of business, we love the lower tax rate. Now, it might not be good for the community, but for us personally, our business is good. So other than that, are there any redeeming qualities from Trump that we are going to miss or that you like to see carried over into the Biden administration? Again, I want to have a conversation with you this morning, 513-873-7134. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, I'm into it. David's in the house. He writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Let me get the Chopper today. We need to get to the Choppers today. How many people took the day off? Is today like a holiday for you? You going to just get back and chill? You tell me. Cinnamon writes, good morning this fine day. David writes, feels like I think I read that. Brenda writes, happy Wednesday. Kelly writes, good morning. Nat writes, good morning, Facebook Choppers. Good morning to you. Let me see. Tracy writes, his legacy, 400,000 deaths, Hispanic children who can't find their parents, 5 deaths at the Capitol, Charlottesville, calling Black Lives Matter domestic terrorists, the Muslim ban, playing golf, injecting disinfectants. When do I stop? That's a pretty good lift. Trump played more golf than anybody else. Trump talked all this ish about Obama playing golf, and he played more golf than the previous 2 presidents combined. That's all he did was play golf. That's it. He played more golf and talked more ish than anything else. And she's so right about the coronavirus. I don't care what nobody say. In my opinion, this country would be in a better place in terms of dealing with coronavirus if Trump would have made it more of a priority and taken it more seriously. He cost people's lives, and it cost him the election as well. Kelly's in the house. What's up, Kelly? Good to see you. Brenda writes, happy Wednesday. Good to see you. Nat writes, good morning, Facebook Choppers. Good morning to you. Good to see you. A Billy and Danita talking across the board. Says, love you too, Shorty. Black love, I love it. Happy Wednesday, says Brenda. Brandy writes, good morning. Good morning to you, Brandy. Andrielle writes, morning, Nate and all. Good morning to you. Tiff's in the house. She writes, good morning, all. Ballhead writes, good morning. Good morning to you. Glenn writes, good luck, Otis. Yeah, you talking about Otis Wellborn Jr. with the Wellborn experience? You said his name, so we got to play it again.
It's that well-born experience. It's that well-born experience. The well-born experience. 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 It's that well-born experience. The well-born experience. That well-born experience. Experience. Tell us what you need. That's the question we start with. We specialize selling condos, houses, apartments. Make sure that you're happy with your residence. Keep it real, no filter. Otis, the realtor from the nattiest heaven sent. It's the well-born experience, ain't nothing like it. Every time he talk to his client, he's so excited just knowing he able to put them in a place to lay their head, not focusing on his profits but on the client instead. Right. He keeps it so professional and from his conversation you can tell he studies before sharing information. Educated, motivated, ain't nobody better. Who's willing to walk you through every step to relieve the pressure? Yeah, and just so you know it's real, you get a special personalized rug once he closes the deal. So go and call him up so he can get you live. 513-252-1055.
You said it. It's that get that Wellborn experience. Danita writes, Trump's legacy shit show. Tell me how you really feel. Dill writes, total failure. Total failure. There must be something that we can glean from Trump. So I'm a big believer in trying to get something out of it. We spent 4 years with him as the commander-in-chief. There must be something redemptive, something positive that we can glean from this, that we can absorb from this experience with Trump. Must be something. Woody writes, Don Nakon will go down in history as the worst racist, draft-dodging, cowardly, impeached prez in American history. Fast Pitch is in the house. She writes, good morning, all, except the Karens and Darrens. Good show last night, Fast Pitch. You can check it out right now up on our Facebook page on CDM. Yeah, she said, except the Karens and Darrens. Speaking of Karens and Darrens, I got a video for you I want to show you really quickly. It shows a Karen being dragged to hell. There's actually like a horror movie called Drag to Hell. Have you seen it before? Where this white woman, she was a Karen, and she was being Karenish with the wrong person, and a gypsy woman put a spell on her. And the spell was that like she didn't do something within a certain amount of days, like demons was going to come up and drag her to hell. And not to spoil the movie for you, but that's exactly what happened. Them books came up like the goons at Suge Knight's era at Death Row rolled up on her like, what? And dragged her ass straight to hell. You ever seen that movie? It's called Drag to Hell. I kind of spoiled it for you. It's been out for a long time. You should have seen it already. But it's worth your time. The in-between is worth your time. She was a Karen, doing some Karen-ish in the movie, all caught up with her white privilege. And she was talking down to the wrong one, this gypsy woman. I forget what she did to her. She did something crazy to her. And she put that evil eye on her, man. Whoo, it was a wrap. All kinds of stuff started happening. Like, what is that? And then before you know it, man, Suge's boys rolled up from the depths of the pits of hell. And she was out of here, man. Yeah, this is the latest Karen video. I want to play this for you. I love these videos. I'll be honest with you. Check this out.
Off of me. Sir,
don't come behind me.
You need to read the Constitution. You need to read the Constitution. Get your hands off of me. You don't have the right to do this. You're taking a picture of this. This is so illegal. You take your hands off of me, sir. I am not a criminal. I've done nothing wrong.
I'm asking you to
and I'm asking you to get your hand off of me. I'm asking you to take your hand off of me. I'm asking you to take your hand off of me. Take your hand off of me. Take your hand off of me. Take your hand off
You don't
of
want
me.
you to refuse to leave.
I don't want your
And
hand
I'm
off of
telling
me.
you.
You're violating my
telling
personhood.
you.
I have my First Amendment rights. Look at this.
understand
You get
your right,
this?
yes.
You get this?
I'm
I'm
driving
asking
you.
him to take his hand off of me. He has no right to kidnap me. This is
I'm not
kidnapping.
kidnapping you.
You are. Let go of me.
No.
Let go of me.
I'm happy to step out.
This is
Refuse to
because
step
the
out.
police department are ignorant of their constitutional rights. This is why this man has his hand on me, and he's on my personhood, and I have the right to protect my
understand that.
personhood. No, sir, take your hand off of me. Take your hand off. Don't steal my purse. Now he's stealing my purse.
She out of here?
I have done nothing wrong.
Stand up. Stand up.
Take a picture of these guys. Get their names.
Oh, we're going to take a picture.
Can I have your back ID, please?
Yee-hoo!
Can I have your back ID?
You getting all this? You see this? This is illegal.
I don't see
You're
no
going to
badge on you,
jail.
sir.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. Let go of me. Shame on you. Let go of my purse. Are you filming this, sweetheart?
I am.
Are you filming this, sweetheart? Stop it! You cannot arrest me. I've done nothing illegal. I have done nothing
What
illegal.
you being arrested for?
Stop it. Stop it.
I know.
Go. I am not under arrest. Leave me alone.
No, actually, you are. Listen, forgive me. I know I'm wrong. I know it's wrong. I'm supposed to be a responsible, upstanding pillar of the community and all that other shit. But that shit was funny as hell, boy. She was like, stop it! So there are some lessons there I want to share with you, family. I do want to reiterate something. And I made this point about Facebook. I want to draw some parallels. That's you on Facebook. When Facebook say it's time to go, it's time to fucking go. You out. You don't have a right to be on Facebook, and you don't have a right to be in any establishment. A lot of folks don't know this, maybe. But when you walk into an establishment, you are there at their pleasure solely. The moment they ask you to leave, you are trespassing if you don't get your ish and go. And what you just saw happen to Karen will happen to you. Now, I'm not saying you don't have a case. I'm not saying you're right or wrong. But in that moment, you leaving. Period. And when they call the boys are going to go to the counter and say that somebody called the police here, you got a disturbance. They're going to say, yeah, that woman right there, we asked her to leave. She's XYZ, she whatever the reason they give her. They could be completely wrong. They're going to walk over to you and say, hey, ma'am, what's going on? Well, they want you to leave, so gather your things and you need to leave. At that point, if you don't leave, the way she just got dragged out is the way you're going to get dragged out. Period, point blank. You leaving. Period. Walmart, your favorite copy shop, where you get your sneakers, Bath and Body Works, McDonald's, it don't matter. You are leaving. Period. You might have a case, but you're going to figure that out later. And if you don't like it, don't go into the store. Simple as that. Don't go in there wilding out. I don't have no sympathy for Karen whatsoever. You get what you get. You don't have a fit, Karen. Talking about constitutional rights. You don't have no constitutional right to be in an establishment once the business owner tells you to leave. You got to go. And it don't matter what the reason. They can say yabba dabba doo, yellow, green, blue. We want you to leave. And you're leaving. And you can either get up and gather your things and leave on your own, power, or you saw what the boys did, didn't you? And see, the white sheriff wasn't playing no games. The black sheriff was like, you know what, ma'am, I don't really want to put my hands on you like this, right? The white sheriff came over. What did he say? He said, is she out of here? Remember, you hear what he said? Is she out of here? The black sheriff said, yep, she was out of there. Privilege, man. You're on my personhood. Yeah, we're going to take your personhood and dump you in the car with some cuffs on your personhood in a second. And then we're going to charge you because now you're just compounding the situation. Here's what you do in a situation like that. You get your ish and you roll out. And if you feel like they're wrong, you get you a lawyer and maybe you got a suit, maybe you got a civil suit or something like that. That's what you do. I'm just telling you, that's a better way of dealing with it. Because they will call, and by they, I'm talking about these shop owners, they will call the boys on you. And when they do, you leaving. You leaving. Shame on you. Shame on you. Get your ass out of here. I live for these videos. This is what I do. I live for this. Don't tell me you don't like these kind of videos. Stop fronting. You like this. It's what we live for. It's the digital age we live in. That is hilarious. I could listen to that, watch that again. At the very end, she's like, stop it. I would have been rolling. I might have pulled my camera out, my phone out, and started filming some ish. Like, y'all see this over here? And I would tell people around me, like, learn. See, I'm a firm believer in learning from other people's mistakes. Learn from Karen's mistake right there. Because Karen was on some dumb ish. Your constitutional rights. Yeah, tell that to black people, man. That was nothing. Really, she got off light. You know what I'm saying? They could have gave you the old bang on your noggin like Trump suggested. Bang your head straight on it. Bow. You can get some of that. That's what we be getting. That's what our family and friends be getting. It is what it is. I ain't got no tears for you, Karen. Better quit tripping. You better quit tripping. It tickles the hell out of me. I know it's wrong. I know I'm supposed to be more responsible and all that kind of ish. Man, I'll be responsible tomorrow. Right now, that ish is funny as hell. You get what you get, and you don't have a fit. Anthony writes, all he did for us was piss us off. That's it? Come on, y'all. Like, it's a lot of smart people in the room. I think collectively, can't we come up with at least one or two redemptive qualities in Trump? Somebody must have been eating good out there. I mean, wealthy people ate well. He never built a wall. Wages still the same. Unemployment rate even worse. A lot of people died because of his lack of leadership with COVID. I will say that, again, I haven't done a lot of research on this, but I think this whole focus on America, which is great. I'm all about focusing on this country and spending money here with us. But internationally, I think the historians will look back and say that during these 4 years, China has made a considerable jump in becoming the new world power, primarily because of the investments that they've made in the continent of Africa. We don't even talk about that enough. But I suspect that in the years to come, again, if you see this, hit me with a direct message like, Nate, you was right. I suspect that, the whole international, political science people that kind of study this kind of stuff. China's been like, yeah, America first. We invested in Africa. Yeah, we're going to invest in the Silk Road, right? The digital version of it. Creating new trade lines so they can become a new world power. So I'm not sure. Trump has definitely whipped up the crazies. Karens and Darrens felt way more entitled under Trump. I don't think anybody can disagree with that. But how much did it impact your life? Did you lose your job? Are you making more money, less money? Is your lifestyle the same? How about your mom and them? How they doing? How about your cousins and them? Everybody doing well? I mean, how has your life been affected by Trump? Did we miss an opportunity? Could Black America have made more inroads if we played ball with Trump? Did we try? I don't know. Ryan writes, what's up, Nate? What's up with you, Ryan? Brittany's in the house. What's up, Brittany? She writes, good morning. What's up, Brittany? Ryan writes, free Kodak. Okay. Kashara, what's up, Kashara? She writes, I will miss the Saturday Night Live skits. That's something redemptive. He became my favorite comedian during his term. So in terms of being your favorite comedian, is he above or below, let's say, Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle? Because Trump was full of comedy. He was full of comedy. He was. He is hilarious. Nat writes, so he's going to pardon Lil Wayne and Kodak Black, but not Asada Shakur or Mumia Abu Jamal, huh? Excellent point. But of course, he couldn't do that. I mean, Asada Shakur, you got people out there that's still looking like at her, in terms of her interactions and some of the accusations against her as it relates to law enforcement. I want to see the Assata Shakur story. That story is amazing. Broke out of prison, fled the country. I mean, that would be nice. I want to see that. Mumia Abu Jamal. I agree with both of those, quite honestly. From my understanding and my politics, I'm with you 100%, Nat. From Trump's perspective, hell no, he ain't going to touch that. He is not going to touch that. Man, if somebody, no president is going to touch that. Assata Shakur? Nah. Because there'd be a straight up revolution, a revolt from the Fraternal Order of Police Associations across the nation. They would be at the Capitol in uniform. If a president says something about granting clemency to Assata Shakur, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Cinnamon writes, I wrote the comedian's material for you. He wrote the comedian's material for years. He did. He did. The Daily Show, Trevor Noah. What is he going to talk about now? Trevor Noah's been eaten. Not eating, but eaten. Not Garden of Eden, but eaten. Just minus the G off of Trump for years. I don't know what they're going to do. Billy Rice replying to Ryan Martin, I'm sorry and no respect to you, but screw Kodak. He said, fuck Kodak, okay. Brittany's in the house. He writes, he forgot Joe Exotic too. I still haven't seen that Netflix series. You're right, he did forget Joe Exotic. Damn. April writes, they are still in court too. Anthony writes, I just read that Trump has put things in place as he's leaving that will take Biden 6 months to untangle. Yeah, I mean, so much for the peaceful transfer of power. That's right. They've done that exactly. They really have. They want to try to cripple the Biden administration. And again, that gives the Republicans political fodder. They can say, see, I told you, Trump was better. All right, get ready for that. D writes, Deshaun writes, happy Trump get the out day. It's funny. Daniki writes, free Suge and see Corey Miller. Facts. What do I remember about Suge? Now Suge ran over a man. He ran over two men, didn't he? I'll be honest with you, Dariki. I'm sorry, I might have said it wrong. Dariki. I'll be honest with you. I think the chickens came home to roost for Suge. Suge did a lot of dirt, man. He did a lot of dirt, and it finally caught up with him. He did a lot of people wrong. I read a book many years ago, never got a chance to speak with the author. It was called The Fantastic Rise, The Incredible Rise and the Fantastic Fall of Death Row Records. That book, it's still in my library. That book is so dope. It predates Vlad. Now, I will say, yeah, it predates Vlad, and it was very comprehensive in telling the backstories of all of the main characters involved and the artists involved with Death Row Records and a lot of the stuff that happened after Death Row Records. I was fascinated with all of that, all of those stories back in the day, and I just couldn't consume enough, media about it. This is predating the dawn of people really heavily being on the internet. And the name of the author was a dude named Ronan Rowe, which of course was a pseudonym or stage name, whatever you want to call it, because he wanted to protect his identity. And I've told this story before. I'll tell it again since I'm this far into it. But I remember reaching out to that brother many years ago, 15 years ago, if not more than that. Like, look, I'm doing this radio show. Can I get you on? He was like, bruh, it ain't safe. Basically, he was like, nah, I'm trying to keep a low profile, man, because people at my neck about this book. So Suge had people shook. And if you hit the DJ Vlad, he does incredible work, man. He is some of the best media about the death of Tupac. You want to know who killed Tupac? We already know who killed Tupac. Want to know who killed Biggie? It's pretty much out there, via DJ Vlad and his work. We know who they are. And just the whole backstory. If you just sit down, if you're interested in it and I piqued your interest, just go to Vlad TV and type in Mob James. Just watch that brother. It's like 90 minutes. Man, that shit's so damn entertaining. It'll blow your brain. The whole story's out there. They know who killed Tupac. He's dead now. They know who killed Biggie. They already know. I mean, the whole backstory is amazing. So I think with Suge, the chickens came home to roost. Dariki, Should he have gotten that amount of time for what probably was a mistake? He was older, cataracts. Basically he was afraid, backed up into a couple individuals and killed them, ran over one of his boys, actually somebody he knew for a while. I mean, it's debatable, but from what I've read and watched about Suge, he did so much dirt. He did so many people wrong. It came back on him. Corey Miller, murder. I can't remember the whole backstory about that. I don't remember the details about his story. That's Master P's brother. April writes, he and the people controlling IG and Facebook, Google, Hotmail ain't going nowhere. Nope, they ain't. April writes, we still at war. Over words. You're right about that. Anthony writes, he is a con man smart. He's a con man smart. You're right about that. He is a crime boss smart. You're right about that. Most certainly. Most certainly. Toy writes, and good morning to you, Toy. Trump's talent. It's hard to find one, but it's there. It's playing on people's emotions. Ah, okay. Playing on people's emotions. Yeah. I think you're on to something, Toy. See, say what you want about Trump, and I've said this for years, is that Trump knows how to interact with people. He may not be book smart. He may not be world history or even American history smart. Yeah, he may not be book smart. That was the wifey asking me to confirm a purchase that I made early this morning. So because of security and stuff, we got to set up. If any purchases come out of our account, we get a notification just because people would try to steal your identity real quick. Yeah. So we got a fraud alert call. You should put that on your account because people will steal your identity and you wake up, you ain't got nothing in your bank account. We can't afford that. So anyway, where was I? Talking about Trump. I had a train of thought there, which I've lost. Thank you, wifey. No, it's all good, love. Yeah. Trump's talent is, he may not be, I know what it was. He may not be world history smart or American history smart, but he knows how to me, he exhibited an understanding of how to get people to do what you want them to do, which is a very, very different type of intelligence, a very, very valuable type of intelligence. There's all kinds of types of intelligence, right? And my uncle, man, shout out to my Uncle Ron. Uncle Ron called Trump before anybody else in my circle. Back when I was like, can Trump really win? I'm like, nah. He was like, look, I'm telling you, Trump's going to win. How did he know? Because at the time, he was doing kind of gig work that was taking him to different parts of the city. He was interacting with different kind of people, and he was telling me what they were saying and picking up on their conversations. He was right. He called it. My uncle also called this years ago. He said that when Trump leaves, hold on one second. He also said that when Trump leaves, that Trump is going to be in a situation where he's going to have dirt on his name. This is way before all this stuff happened at the Capitol. Hold on. I want to make sure, because we got a couple of guests scheduled for today. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. I know this is what they call improper and dead air and all that shit, but it's a little different now. Yeah, I set up a guest and I just got confirmation. Another local guest here. I definitely want to talk to. This particular individual has been in the news quite a bit. And I saw an interview with him where the interviewer was going super hard. And I thought, let me reach out because I love to speak with him as well. So I'm speaking of Cincinnati City Councilman Greg Landsman. Greg Landsman is scheduled to be my guest here. I know I didn't put it out there, but we'll talk with him. I just sent him the link. So we'll talk with him hopefully here in the next couple of minutes. All right. And then at 9:30 this morning, I've got an interview set up with a Black entrepreneur. But this is a youngster. I love it. If we all about being entrepreneurs and Black wealth building, it starts with the young. We should be setting example for our children, for our nieces and nephews, and also promoting them to become entrepreneurs. You don't have to be an adult to start a business. Who told you that lie? You can start a business right now in whatever it is. So I'm looking forward to the conversation. That's at 9:30 a.m. this morning. So stick around for that. It's going to be wonderful. So again, I just sent the link to Greg Landsman. He's a current member of City Council. There's a lot to talk to about Greg too. I want to talk about the corruption. I want to talk about, is he running for re-election? I want to talk about everything. What's going on at City Hall, including, some of the things that are going to be debated today, including that land deal at Elm and Liberty. What's his take on that? How's he going to vote? And also, we talked about this yesterday with Chris Silbach, his colleague, Iris, and the sister Naaman from OJCP, and talked to her about no-knock warrants and just revamping the way warrants are going to be administered here in the city of Cincinnati. So I just sent him a message, and hopefully he will join the stream real soon. Until then, show goes on. But back to what Toy said. I think Toy's onto something, y'all. What do y'all think? I think that's a good point. He understood. She said play on people's emotions. He's right. She's right about that. But I think that what we saw from Trump was he was very good at getting people to do what he wanted them to do, whether that was from hook or crook, whether he baited you in and made you a part of it and somehow you're getting something out of it, or he just put the screws on you like, look, either you're going to do this or I'm going to do that, either way, influencing people either way. So, and it worked. It worked like a charm. Deshaun writes, Lil Gremlin ass Wayne picture with Trump did not sway black folks to vote for Trump. Lil Gremlin ass Wayne popularity isn't like it used to. True that, but I would not be surprised if it influenced some people out there. I agree. Lil Gremlin ass Wayne, it's not what he used to be, but he still got millions and billions and billions of people, man. And at the time, there was a big conversation going on about what the Democrats have done for black people. So to have this black influencer like Lil Wayne get up there, and again, it was a cascade effect. You had Kodak Black, you had Lil Wayne, you had Ice Cube. All of that was affecting people either way. And it was affecting people to either vote for Trump, like, you know what? Screw these Democrats again, do what you do, or to not vote at all. Because either side is dirty. I don't like Trump. I don't like the Democrats. And it worked with some people. May writes, he should have got a pardon. Kilpatrick. Kwame Kilpatrick. I can't remember what his crime was. I'm not sure. What did Kwame Kilpatrick do allegedly? I'm not sure. I can't remember. April writes, but Obama screwed the working ex or convicted. But Obama screwed the working ex or convicted felon. He screwed the working or convicted felon. What do you mean by that, April? I'm not doubting you. I just can't remember. I'm trying to put it in context. What does that mean exactly? KR Mitchell writes, good morning, Nate and Choppers. Good morning to you. I need some good morning, man, music. Okay, we'll try this.
I'm going to do a terrific show today.
Stuart. Thank you, Stuart. We're going to have a terrific show today. I'm getting a call from our favorite listener on the West Coast. Again, I'm awaiting, as I said, perhaps a Zoom call from Greg Landsman, who's a current member, white male Democrat on City Council. And so until that happens, let's continue on. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. This is your West Side Connection, Drop Squad 52, calling from the left coast. The People's Republic of California, prepare to be triggered. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great.
Hey, I'm gonna make the show. I'm gonna make this quick, my brother. I'm just gonna give you some quick numbers. 19% of the black male vote, 9% of the black female vote, for a total of 28% of the black vote received by the Republican Party in the 2020 election. The black divide is real. Black not Democrat is real. Joe Biden, this is your America. Immigration versus reparations. Drop Squad 52. Black, not Democrat. Dropping science. Who wants to catch it? I can't wait, Sleepy Joe.
Appreciate the call. That's Drop Squad. He going hard with the whole black, not Democrat, which in terms of concept, I agree with that concept. But we shall see. We shall see. April writes, well, that's the good news. Trump is starting a third party called Patriot Party. Is that right? Hold on. Oh, is that right? The Patriot Party. I'm reading it now. Business Insider 2 hours ago. Donald Trump considers starting new Patriot Party. 9 hours ago, Yahoo News. Trump is considering starting the Patriot Party. And they're nothing but patriots. New York Times opinion, will Trump force principled conservatives to start their own party? Okay. Well, I mean, that's what he feel like he needs to do. He should do it. No problem with it. I won't be joining that dumbass party. I mean, I have to hear more, but at this point right now, hell no. But if that's what he wants to do, if he could get people behind it, I can see it working. So let me not shit on it. Whatever Trump does, he's going to be successful in getting millions of people behind it. Man, people been eating off Trump. Diamond and Silk, they ate off Trump. Officer Tatum, eating off Trump. Eating. If you ain't hip to Officer Tatum, you go to his website. Dude is eating. He got a whole brand surrounded around Trump. So I'm telling you. Okay, listen, I see we got Greg Landsman backstage. Hey, Grant, can you hear me? Yes, he can't hear me. Just give me a thumbs up when you're ready, brother. He said he's ready. Okay, so let's go straight to it. Hey, what's up, Greg? How are you?
Good morning. How are you, Nathan?
Good morning. I'm doing great.
Yeah?
Doing great.
Happy Inauguration Day.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is. It's hard to, it's, you know, so I saw some, a headline last night before I went to bed that said, a look back at the Trump presidency. And I thought, don't click. I don't want to look back at the Trump presidency.
Yeah, we've been talking about that this morning. It was quite a ride. And I don't think it's over.
No. But there will be a return to some normalcy, you know, and, you know, having somebody who's actually in charge working on, you know, the vaccine distribution, you know, helping schools reopen, helping local governments, you know, get back on their feet, actually helping businesses get back on their feet. It will make a big difference.
You're an elected official, so I'm interested in your perspective. Where were you? What was your reaction? What is your reaction to the raid by those domestic terrorists on the Capitol a couple of weeks back?
Yeah, I mean, I as I've said, I think it was an act of sedition. It was an attempted coup. You know, I believe the president should be, should have been removed from office. I still believe that the president needs to be convicted. I think the Senate needs to convict Donald Trump. It can't ever happen again. And without that conviction, he's able to, one, it sets a terrible precedent that you can encourage, if not lead, a violent insurrection against your own government and get away with it, and perhaps even still run for office. And so I think the conviction actually matters very much in that it sets the right precedent, which is this is the highest crime. And you're going to get convicted. And I think others are going to have to be accountable too, members of Congress that aided the president. And it wasn't just that day. Obviously, that day was, in my mind, very clear that they incited this riot, which was intended, 100% intended to stop the certification vote. That was the goal. And but it was weeks, months of lying, and you know that lie was a big one. You know, it undermined our democracy, was that this was a rigged election. In any event, I do believe that we have to, as much as we want to focus on everything else, and we have to do all of these other things, I do believe that holding everyone accountable, members of Congress, you know, Giuliani, you know, Donald Trump, is going to be very important long term for the health of our democracy.
So you used the word accountability. Let's stick with that. Let's talk about city council, because you are in a unique position. And if I'm wrong about this, and I don't believe I am, correct me. But as I understand it, if you run for re-election, have you announced if you're running or not? Are you? What are your plans?
Yeah, I plan on running.
Okay.
Yep.
So in my mind, again, if I'm factually wrong on this, set me straight, but you will be the only person who has successfully run for city council that'll be on the ballot.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that's right. So I'm the only elected.
The only elected
incumbent running for re-election. Yeah.
And so, you know, what's that
experience? Crazy. I mean, that in and of itself, you've been following this for a long time. I mean, it's usually there's one or two incumbents, elected incumbents.
Right.
And in this case, there will be 8.
Right. Right.
Jan Michelle is running again, but as an appointed member, and she's been great to work with. So hopefully she returns. I suspect that the other, the Republicans who were appointed will run again, though their path to getting reelected is much harder.
So there's been I want to talk about the so-called corruption at City Hall, and I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah.
Because as we stand here right now, the popular perception is that City Hall, City Council is corrupt. Do you think that's fair?
No. I mean, I think that clearly there, mistakes were made, big ones, but I think there's a real problem with the culture at City Hall. And a lot of that has to do with the way people use power. And it's been too divisive, in my opinion. There's just too many wars, big personality conflicts. And the reason I think that matters, is that, ultimately you want everyone working together to solve these problems and to fight for the people that we all said we were fighting for. And if you start fighting with each other, you can't fight for the people that you said you were going to fight for. And so I'm actually optimistic that we can turn a corner. Some of it will happen this year, but I suspect a lot of it will happen with a new mayor and a new council and I'm going to push very hard for people who have 2 things in common. One is they are all about the work. They deeply care about the people that they are serving. They want to solve the problems. They want to, address the inequities. They care deeply about the people living in the city, and that's the work that matters most. It's not about their political ambition or about being in the limelight or any of that stuff. They just want to do the work, and they have a history of that. And then 2, they're collaborators. They're really good at working with people and being part of coalitions and getting things done. Because again, they care more about getting the work done and the people they serve than anything else. And so those are the kinds of folks that I think need to, hopefully, I would like to see rise to the top so that we can fundamentally change the culture at City Hall.
So let's go back here. So 2 of your colleagues, your Democrats as well, Tamaya Denard, first she goes down, for lack of a better term, in terms of charges from the FBI. And I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, I remember there was some news reports that she had come to you for money and you had loaned her some money. Is that true? What happened? Were you aware that she was in financial, in a bad situation? Did she in fact come to you? Did you loan her money?
Yeah, she did. And I thought to myself as a, elected, there's not that many people that can, and I could because I don't have any, there's not a conflict. I have a colleague now who's trying to suggest that there was, or that there could have been a conflict, or there was a conflict. But I had gotten a legal opinion. I had asked, like, hey, is it appropriate? Can I do this? It's a friend who's struggling. And so, yeah, I did. I mean, and it's that, that's something I think that we're all expected to do when somebody comes to you and says, hey, I could use some help, and you're in a position to help, you help.
Yeah.
And it's a really sad story. Although I think that Tamaya is one of the stronger people I've ever met. And so my sense is that she will, and committed, like she cares deeply about the what's broken in our community. And I suspect she'll be back.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, from the outside looking in, when I heard about that, I thought that's a stand-up person right there. I do the same thing. And again, from just a colleague standpoint, it's also about helping to preserve the integrity. If I'm in a situation like that, I'd much prefer you come to me
Correct.
than to go ask a developer or do something that might compromise yourself in your position. So when I read that, I thought, I don't see no problems with you saying that one of your colleagues or people out there trying to say that somehow there was you're to blame for it somehow.
No, that somehow then she was on she would vote my way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a stretch. Like, one doesn't necessarily have to do anything with the other.
No,
I don't necessarily see that per se.
Not at all. And it's because I didn't actually have any business before council, like personal business. It was fine, and I've never asked. I never asked her to vote a certain way.
Now, were you a part of the so-called Gang of Five? I believe you were. Okay, because I've heard people make these connections, and I want to get your thoughts about it. And I did get a chance to listen to your interview with Jason Williams.
Yeah.
And I thought there were some fair questions there, but I want to talk with you directly myself. So I've heard people say, okay, so the Gang of Five, and again, just so you know, in my opinion, I thought that was politically motivated and blown up. I tried to search to figure out, okay, why does this really matter to me? It's not kitchen table, and just understanding who was behind it. It seemed politically motivated, but it is out there now. But I've heard people try to make these comparisons, like, okay, so because they was doing text messages away from the public view, that's what led to the members of council thinking they can do whatever they want to do. Have you heard this? Do you feel responsible for anything, the culture of corruption in any way, or what happened with your colleagues?
I think it's a really good question. I think there is a question about trust, right? There was, when I first got to council, the mayor and the manager were not in a good place. And I had understood that there were issues, but I wasn't in a position to, pass judgment yet. I'd just gotten there. And the mayor went and said, look, I'm going to fire Harry Black. And I said, I would take a deep breath. Look, I'm going out of town. I'm happy to work on this. I'm not there yet. And then PG had sent out a text saying, hey, it looks like, there are 5 people who aren't going to fire Harry. And at that point it was, would you put your name on a letter? And I was, I think, literally in the air. So I didn't respond. And then finally at some point, because I needed to get to work, I have another job outside of council, as many of us do. And I said, you can put my name on there. And that was a violation. I didn't think it was. Of course, I would never have done it if I did, but it was arguably a violation of the open meetings law, and that, 5 people were making a decision. In my mind, it was a decision about putting my name on a letter that was going to be immediately made public, which it was. But I regret that I did that, and that, it did lead to this whole thing, and it gets at trust. And I do think trust is hugely important. I mean, we've seen that, like if you don't, especially in the middle of a pandemic, when we need folks to listen to public health folks and electeds and others who are saying, hey, you got to wear a mask, this vaccine is critical for us to get out of here. And if you start to lose that trust, and it becomes harder to do the work. So I think it was overblown. It didn't need to end up being litigated. I mean, someone could have said, hey, look, this is a violation. And, if we could go back in time, I think, we should have pushed harder to say, look, fine, let's pay the fee, the fine, but let's not litigate this. Let's not burden taxpayers with hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was a text thread. And, but I do, is it different than, the FBI getting involved in what they consider to be, corruption, pay for play activities? Yes. But look, I think that we got to turn a corner, which is that, we've got to do everything we can to restore trust, a bunch of reforms that I think are really important that we should have done a long time ago, to just bring a lot more transparency to the way City Hall works. And I think we need people who are going to just do the work with each other. They're not going to pick fights, over the issues. They'll disagree. And I think it's really important for people to stand up for what they believe in, but to, be committed to continuing to work on these things, because folks who are struggling, they need us to act. They need their government to act. And if they're constantly fighting with each other, they don't benefit from that.
So let's talk about that. So what are some of the proposals to deal with the possibility of corruption from City Hall? Didn't you put some ideas on the table as well?
So I've laid out a few things that I hope will pass. One is that we really would benefit from having a local ethics commission. We have a state ethics commission, but it's being asked to like proactively deal with things in 88 counties, and they can't. They don't have the staff. So a local ethics commission would allow us to be a little more proactive, to look at policies, to make sure they're right, and they would work in partnership with the Ohio Ethics Commission. There would be a chief ethics and good government officer to really work on all of the things that we need to do from a good government standpoint. One of the issues is the issue of contributions and these development deals. So I'm saying if you're contributing and you have any business in front of the city, that contribution needs to be made public on a publicly facing website within 24, 48 hours. There needs to be real transparency about these contributions. And I do believe the trainings matter. If you go back to the tech stuff, we were told in trainings that texts were not public records. And that was confusing. They are now considered public records, but at that time they weren't. And so you have to be going to these trainings, all the time, at least every year, because these things change dramatically because technology is changing. And so I believe that everyone should be doing trainings every year, and the training should be comprehensive, not just on, one piece of the law, but all of it. And then, a charter amendment that allows us to really codify some of these campaign finance reforms and deal with issues where there's been misconduct.
So if your idea passes and then there's like a website, let's make it, maybe it's the city's website where it's publicly put out there, the contributions for developers, how will that be different from the way it is now? Is it a time difference? Like,
yeah,
you can still do a freedom of information request and get that information, can't you?
Yeah, you can, but we file, I think, twice a year.
So it'll be faster.
Yeah, it's twice a year, and it's not digitized. Like, I don't think it is. I think you have to request it. So this would be, yeah, and this is not new. Like, if you give a certain amount of money to a federal candidate, about, you know, you have to immediately disclose it. But all of that should be online. I mean, they're just the transparency piece to me, and others have. I shouldn't overlook what others have proposed. There are, I think, real changes that need to be made to the development process, where there's just way more transparency, but most importantly, that there is clarity, that everyone knows exactly what the mayor's role is supposed to be, what that lane looks like, and that the mayor, whoever it is, stays in that lane, and what council's role is, and whatever that is, we have to stay in that lane. And there are at the moment, some blurred lines that need to be resolved.
Speaking of development, and this came up yesterday, we have Michelle Dillingham on. Marche wants to know, will Greg vote on the Liberty and Elm Street project? I'm sure you're aware of this project. It's been in the news, especially in the last 24 hours. How are you leaning in terms of your vote for that?
Yeah, it's a great question. And at the moment, I don't know enough. Or let me say that a little bit differently, or clearly. We just got the packet. It's 150 pages on Friday. And now we're expected to vote on it tomorrow. It did not go through Budget and Finance, which was yesterday. I thought we were going to have an opportunity to go through everything yesterday, but it went to another committee. Even though it's a $20 to $30 million deal, there are some zoning changes, so it went to the zoning committee. And so it's not something I feel comfortable voting on this week. And I have questions, I guess the last thing I'll say about it is, typically the votes that we've gotten where we put in money, significant money, have some level of affordability. And these are all high-end units or apartments. It's like 300 units. And so, yeah, I mean, I will say it's been frustrating because, I think the expectation, rightfully so, is that we do our due diligence on these deals, that we really take our time. And, we were given this enormous packet. It's a huge deal on Friday, and we're expected to vote on it a couple of days later. And unlike all of the other development deals I've dealt with, it usually, we get a chance in Budget and Finance to really look at the deal and talk through it and have a debate. We didn't get that chance. So I'm not prepared to vote for it on Thursday because of the holiday. That doesn't mean that I can't get there. Like, I'm going to keep an open mind, but at the moment there are serious questions. And I do think that in light of everything that's happened, as we're trying to restore trust, we really have to do our due diligence on these deals.
Well, the vote is today. Is that correct? Or is it tomorrow? I thought it was today.
There's a vote today. In fact, I've got to jump off because I've got law and public safety that started about 10 minutes ago. But I'm happy to come back later in the week.
Oh, for sure.
They're voting today in economic growth. This is gets a little bit probably too much in the weeds, but typically these development deals have the financial aspect, which is the incentive package. and that goes to budget and finance. And then there's some zoning changes, right? Because oftentimes there has to be an update to the zone zoning requirements. The administration put the two together and decided to send it to the zoning committee. And so that committee, I'm not on. And so they'll take it up today, and I'm going to try to listen in. But, my recommendation is that we push pause and do our due diligence here. And if there's ways in which council can improve this is where it like gets at what is our role, what is appropriate, because I don't want to be accused of doing anything that is less than 100% above board. But now that the administration is done, I believe council has a role to say, look, is this the best we can get in terms of our significant investment? And most of the deals that I have voted on have included some level of affordability. It may not be low income, but it's there are rents in there for what's called workforce housing. People do make an effort to ensure that this is not just a project where the folks who make a lot of money are going to benefit. And I've put forward a new scorecard that we have not voted on yet that will hopefully say to the administration, look, these projects, we want to continue to have these projects, right? We want to see investments in the city. However, they do need to benefit the community in ways that they don't right now. So the scorecard that I proposed has said, look, folks who are hiring locally, who are making a real commitment to hire local. And by local, I mean from neighborhoods, the neighborhood or adjacent neighborhoods, but hiring folks locally. Pre-construction, construction, whatever the jobs are, folks here should be able to access those jobs. They should be at the front of the line. They should be good paying jobs. There should be career training so that it's not the last job. It leads to, a meaningful career. Local businesses, not just contractors, but for this project, there's a lot of commercial real estate. Like, what about our local businesses, particularly Black businesses, Black-owned businesses? Are they going to, is there a real effort to help them be in a position to be part of that commercial development and affordable housing? So, had they included more affordability, it would have been scored better. And so, this is a tough one because I think we do, we don't have this new scorecard in place. But at the same time, what I've seen so far suggests that we can do better. But I don't know if they'll need my vote or not. So
real quick, 15 seconds, Greg. Yeah. I know you got to go to Law and Public Safety. I really appreciate your time. But real quick, how will you vote for Chris Silbach's motion to ban no-knock warrants and to change and reform that process?
Yes. Yeah. He's, Chris has done a really good job working with everybody on this. There are still, even though we've made big reforms in terms of policing in Cincinnati, there are still big reforms left. And this is one of them. The other one that I'm going to put forward is around body cameras. We still have some officers who don't have body cameras. Like, for example, during the protests, you had all those folks in SWAT gear, and I noticed that they didn't have body cameras on, and I was told, well, that the body camera doesn't fit on the SWAT gear. And I said at the time, and I've been working with the administration to figure out, what's the best language. But I think the expectation is that, if the officer is out patrolling, that there is a body camera, and so that's another reform that I think that we still need to get done. And so, yeah, I will vote for it. And I do think that we've made a lot of progress. I don't want to undermine how hard a lot of our officers in the Department of the Chief have worked. I just think that we still have much more to do.
Greg, thanks for your time. I appreciate you, and I'll catch up with you for more conversation here on the show. Plus, I want to run an idea past you.
Okay,
it could be great for the city.
All right, I'm here.
Take it easy.
Thanks. Bye.
Yep. That's Greg Landsman, everybody. Tried to get as many questions in as I could that I thought were relevant to what's going on today. So we heard what he said about Chris Silbach's motion. He will support it. And then it seemed like he's on the fence about that development deal on Elm. He said, at this point, no, but I can be persuaded. So he's going to have to vote maybe within the next week or so. So I would say that's 50-50 right there. But what's your thing? What's your talk? What's your thoughts about the conversation this morning? 513-873-7134. And then as I'm texting you, I missed a message with the school board member that I reached out to. Yeah, appreciate it. Shoot. Okay, hold on one second here. I may have to move some things around because I know that school board conversation is super duper important right now, and I really want to pick the brains of the members of school board. Let me see if I can move things around just a little bit. What's up, OJ? What's up, man? Yeah, get that Wellburn experience. Absolutely. Oh, for sure. Most deaf. Let me see here. I am looking for. I know this is all sort of like you're not supposed to do this, but man, we breaking new ground. We set new territory. I'm trying to move an interview so I can get a school board member to give us a call here for just maybe 5 or 10 minutes and get a sense of what the hell is going on with CPS. There's a lot of question marks and a lot of concern about that. And again, I've reached out to all of the school board members to see. Okay, great. So she can do that. So then that'll give me. Okay, great. So we're scheduled to get a Zoom from Mike Morosky, who is a member of the school board. He should be a familiar face. It's not his first time. He's been on the show. I appreciate the time. This is like, in some cases, last minute, and these are very busy people, and I respect it. But I want to make sure that we get as many people in as possible to talk about what's relevant. You know what I'm saying? I mean, these are the people that have been put in positions of power and influence, so we need to talk with them. And there's a lot of question marks about what's happening with Cincinnati Public Schools, and I want to have the conversation with you here on the Nathan Ivey Show so that my listeners, so that the community can have some answers to your question. So that's coming up in about 12 minutes or so. And then I push back my conversation. I'm looking forward to that. And again, if we go over 10, we go over 10 because I want to make sure I give as much time as possible. I'm all about entrepreneurship and inspiring our community and inspiring young people. And this is an excellent story of a young Black entrepreneur based here in Cincinnati that I just can't wait to share with you. So that's coming up today at 9:45. And I told you a few weeks ago, expect more from the show, more guests of diversity of opinions and faces and voices on the show so that, we can be a resource. We have a lot of fun. You know me, you know my motto, nothing has changed. I'm more than just a political animal. I'm into people, politics, and pleasure. This show will never just be about politics. But when it's time to talk politics, then we're going to talk politics. We're going to give it to you real, raw, and local as much as we can. And that's my wheelhouse. Good morning to you. Janice writes, did you see her interview with Speaker Pelosi last night at 10 p.m. on MSNBC? It was interesting. I did not. I was in the lab last night. I'm in the lab right now. So good morning to you, Glenn. Good morning, Janice. Good morning, everybody. What'd you think about what Greg had to say? I could have talked to Greg for another hour. It's that interesting to me. Angela writes, thanks, Nate. Marche writes, I agree, Nathan Ivey. Sean writes, I'm stating the facts. Most black men voted for Biden. You don't have a grasp on anything. I learned nothing from you. Okay. Choppers are doing what they choppers do. Chopping it up this morning. Let's keep it all civil. Kamikia writes, black men should not see critiques of the way that they are present during the election as a personal attack. A lot of the language and rhetoric from black men was not helpful and caused people to detach from the process. The timing was off. The messaging was off. But many black men were spot on as well. Recognize the patriarchy. Then let's get information. I can't disagree with anything you just said, but as I understand it. Angela writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you, Angela. Thank you for being here. Danita's in the chop shop. She writes, all right, okay, Antoine, if you listening, man, most def. I just got the message, most definitely. Again, if you are a creator or a creative, perhaps we can work together. You know, I'd love to work with you. CDM is expanding our roster and our repertoire of what we provide to our community, and perhaps we can work together on that. So if you're a creator or a creative, perhaps we can work together. Hit me with a direct message, and I will respond today, and we'll set up a time that's convenient for you to have a conversation. If you are a journalist, if you are a writer, if you're a budding journalist, if you're an aspiring writer, if you're super dope with the words, I'd love to talk with you. If you are an editor, audio editor, video editor, videographer, perhaps we can work together. If you're a graphic artist, perhaps we can work together. If you're an entrepreneur looking for creative ways to connect with customers and or an audience, perhaps we can work together. I've got a few ideas I'd like to run past you. Maybe it's a good fit. Hit me with a direct message. I will respond today. We'll set up a time that's convenient for you, and then we'll chat. I love to do it. And also support our sponsor. Again, a good way of supporting the Nathan Ivey Show is supporting the people that support the Nathan Ivey Show, including Otis Wellborn Jr., Realtor, 513-252-1055. I know you want to hear that ad again, but we'll play it later in the show. And you can find them at thewellbornexperience.com this morning. He is ready to work with you. He is ready to serve your needs. Looking for a new home? Oh, man. Call Team Wellborn, thewellbornexperience.com. I know you want to play it. I'm not going to play it right now. I'll play it again for you later in the show. In about 8 minutes, we're expecting a phone call. We're really a Zoom call from Mike Morawski. And Mike Morawski is a member of the Cincinnati Public School Board. He actually raised a question about 6 feet distancing with CPS, sticking with this, were they not sticking with this? It was a little confusing. So I want to bring him on to really talk about that. He said he's got about 10 minutes for us. Cool. That's all we need this morning to pick his brain as to what is going on and why CPS is doing what it's doing and what they're doing exactly. And I do know that if you are a parent of Walnut Hills, that there's conversations about how they can get Walnut Hill students back in school. I ran it past my daughter. She was like, why would we go to school for one day? I mean, and she's a 10th grader. She's like, wait a minute, we've been out of school all this time. The end of school is right around the corner. Why would you want us to go back to school for one day and take the risk? This was her. I agree with her. I'm struggling for understanding. I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, for me, we've gone this far. The end of the school year is, oh, there it is right there. It's 4 months from where? It's 4 months away. So why risk it before teachers and staff have been completely vaccinated? And as I understand it, unless the school board knows something I don't, and they got some newfangled test or something like that, but from what I understand it's 2 shots to get vaccinated. 2, which means there's a couple of weeks between that. So why not wait until everyone gets vaccinated and then, have students go back to school? I don't get it. It must be, I'm sure there is a completely logical reason. I just don't know what it is. And I like to hear it as a concerned member of the community. As a parent, I've got a son who is in the kindergarten, and I've got a daughter that's in 10th grade. I would like to know, What's the big deal? I don't get it. I don't understand it. To me, it's all about safety. Why go this far and then start doing unsafe stuff? I don't understand it. I don't get it. Wait a minute. Letty just went in. Letty, look at it. I can't even, the system I'm using can't even put everything up here. She went in. I can't read all of that, Letty. She went in. She went in, but I will read some of it, though. You took the time to write it. I'll take the time to read some of it. Letty writes, what a day we are about to witness. We are blessed to see this moment that we have been waiting for. It is a day of celebration of life to heal our pain and suffering. Although we still have trials and tribulations as we press on to look forward to a better future. Yes, we are swearing in President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris. Let us hope and pray that our lives will improve and be better, that Biden will meet the needs of all Americans who suffered the most. Blacks and immigrants, unarmed black people who were gunned down by racist police officers masking as white supremacists, or white supremacists masking as police officers, and immigrants who were caged like animals and separated from their parents, family. We have suffered. From this day forth, let us pray and hope that Biden-Harris administration will bring forth peace and prosperity for all who suffered. And there's much, much more. But I'll leave it like that. That's very optimistic. Good morning to you, Letty. That is very optimistic. My personal opinion is that I am my own savior. I'm going to save my family. I'm going to do it. You know, me and my wife are going to do it. I'm going to do it. You have to. We have to be our own saviors. Nobody's going to save our neighborhoods other than us. Now, the federal government plays a big role, obviously. There's still going to be police shootings after Biden takes office. Unarmed black people are in the same position they were 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago, a year ago, than we are now. Does the energy from the top change things? Does it matter? Yeah, of course it matters, Letty, 100%. But we can't let our guard down thinking that all the coast is clear and everything's okay because Biden took over. Yeah, he's going to have better rhetoric, but it's your actions that really matter. It's your actions that really matter. You know, what we really need to do if we care about working class people and poor people is rethink the federal poverty guidelines. They're way too low. Have you looked at the federal poverty guidelines lately? It is amazing what constitutes being impoverished in this country. That number should be higher because you got people making $30,000, $40,000 a year that essentially they hovering around that poverty line. They might have 4 or 5 kids. They hovering around that poverty line. You know what I'm saying? We need to have a serious conversation about changing those standards. What is poverty? Because I think that bar, that number is way too low. You got a lot of working class, impoverished people. And just because you have the internet does not mean that you're not impoverished. I'm sorry. Just because you got a cell phone don't mean you're not living near the poverty line. I know for some people it may sound fantastic, but I'm talking about real life, not some old made up stuff. I'm talking about real life. In real life, there are people that go to work every single day and they are hovering around the poverty line and they work every day. And they're in that middle part where they make too much money to get federal assistance, but really they need federal assistance. They need it. So I think Biden's rhetoric and his intentions will be different. I believe that. But I still believe that whatever gains we get, fam, it's going to be us. It's going to be what we do here in Cincinnati. It's going to be what we do and what you do wherever you live. You might be listening or watching right now in Atlanta. It's going to be what you do in Atlanta. You might be watching, in Arizona. It's going to be what you do in Arizona. You might be watching in California. It's going to be what you do in California. You might be watching in Cleveland. It's going to be what you do in California, in Cleveland that matters the most. You know what I'm saying? Biden, Harris, yeah, we're going to keep them on their toes and watch them and all that kind of stuff. And it matters and yeah, I get you. But what we do as people that have families, as breadwinners, as leaders in our own families, what we do, I think that's going to have the biggest impact. That is just me. In no way am I trying to throw any salt and play down what you're saying, because I think there's a lot of significance in today, primarily because of the elevation of the first woman of color to vice president. And that's great. You know, I'm all about breaking barriers and glass ceilings and stuff like that. But what she does moving forward, and again, we got to remember, Kamala Harris is the vice president. She's only going to have as much power as Joe Biden empowers her to have. So that's going to be a very interesting dynamic. How much is Joe Biden going to empower the first female woman of color to become the vice president of these United States? It's going to say a whole lot. It's going to say a whole lot. If she's just, you know, black window dressing, or is he going to empower her so she can really put some of her ideas in place and have some say so and whatever that means? We have to wait and see. We have to wait and see. Greg writes, crazy as hell to send them back to school. Quit flip-flopping as well. The parents are pressured for no damn reason. See, the thing that's unfair about pushing everybody back to school, and I don't think a lot of people are thinking about this, is are all of the students going to have their teacher available to them? So for instance, when everybody's in virtual learning, all the students are on the same even playing field in terms of access to their teacher. When you go to a hybrid system, now what happens is, in a lot of cases, the only students that have access to the teacher in their school is if they have to go to school. How is that fair? How is that fair? Hold on a second. I'm getting crazy messages here. Oh, most deaf. So think about that. You know, my son, I want my son to have access to, I want my son, if he's going to remain virtual, to have access to his actual teacher and not have to go to the virtual academy where he doesn't have access to his teacher. He may not be in his school. So that's the one thing that's being underreported about this. When people saying, well, do you have a chance between hybrid? They're not thinking it's all the way through. You know, there's only so much time that a teacher can give. So if in the hybrid system, they're going to make it, and by they, I'm talking about CPS. If the hybrid system is going to work like, well, okay, you can remain virtual, but you still have access to the teacher, to your primary teacher, okay. But that doesn't always happen. That's not what's been happening so far. So especially with the young ones, with the really young ones, you want them to have access to that primary teacher because that's the primary teacher. And so when you create a hybrid system, now parents who are COVID sensitive have to decide as to whether they want to brave COVID so their kid can get access to their primary teacher. That is separate but unequal. That ain't fair. That's not fair to the people who are saying like, well, look, you know, I'm COVID sensitive. I got asthma. I've got whatever. You got some underlying condition and you're afraid that your kid might bring COVID back to you. Now you're being penalized. If everybody remains virtual, everybody's on the same playing field in terms of access to the teacher. And that's what it's really all about. Now, if I'm wrong about that, set me straight. Oh, okay. Hold on a second here. Getting a message from Mike Morosky here. I want to make sure we don't miss him. For 1 second. Okay. So I love to get him on Zoom. I love to have people up on the camera. You can actually see their face, but it looks like he might want to give us a call. That works too. Either way. Of course, I prefer the video, but the good thing about a call is that means everybody on the audio stream will be able to hear it as well. So that's good. Either way. I just want to have a conversation. I know he has short time, so My question is to ask him, so what's the plan? What's going on here? Can you break this down to us? And which way did he vote, and why did he vote that way? Okay, looks like I'm getting called here. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you doing, Nathan?
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Not too much. Just going through some emails and getting ready for our board meeting tonight.
Okay. Well, I know your time is short, so again, thank you for your time, number one. And let's get straight to it. So for the folks who don't know or have some confusion about it, give us an update on exactly what CPS is playing. What happened on Saturday? What was determined on Saturday?
So on Saturday, the two substantive items that took place that the board moved forward was one, to send a letter to the governor saying, as you know, the governor sort of put a gun to our heads and said, if you want to get the vaccine for your teachers and custodial staff, cafeteria, administrative workers, etc., you have to guarantee kids will be back in school by March 1st. I expressed my discontent in agreeing to that because I don't like making decisions with a gun to my head, and that's what it feels like. That said, for teachers and staff who want the vaccine, it seemed, just speaking for myself, it seemed like we had to do it. So that was thing number one, was that we would send a letter to the governor saying we'll do our best to have kids back in some capacity March 1st, so that people are eligible to receive the vaccines. The second thing, and this is probably more what you're getting at, but this is related, it's the other side of that coin, is that we would begin phasing in students February 1st in the blended model that existed prior, before we went fully virtual again. So February 1st, students will start phasing back in the blended model, which for listeners, edification, and you as well, means that they will have in-person instruction with an adult 2 days a week. The other 2 days are like self-directed learning, which I, as you may know and your listeners may know, from the very beginning have had concerns with.
So tell us how you voted. Did you vote? How did you vote for in-school learning on February 1st?
Well, we only voted once. And when we voted on September 21st, I voted against. I was the lone no vote on September 21st to send students back at that time. And my opinion has not changed. On Saturday, I wanted to remind my colleagues that the county was purple. The B117 variant of COVID will be here in a month and a half from Europe, and we know it's 50% more transmissible. And also something, that I brought up on Saturday that I, find somewhat troubling is that all the criteria we had laid out last year that we did vote upon, we disregarded to have a conversation to hurry up and bring kids back. So there was no vote per se. The prevailing the consensus was that kids would go back. Certainly, I think I wouldn't speak for anybody else, but I feel as if my colleagues felt it was important to bring them back February 1st. And I am a team player, Nathan, as I think you know, and so I'll do everything I can to make this work. I plan to bring this up again tonight because I do have concerns. And part of the reason is, I get paid to prevent unnecessary deaths for a living, working on infant mortality and Black maternal health policy. Like, that's what I do for a living. And so maybe that's why I can't get beyond that, because I feel like we can prevent unnecessary deaths. And then one thing, and I'll stop talking. There's also the pedagogical sort of learning side of things. I was a former teacher for 10 years and an assistant principal for 2, ran an educational organization for a few years. And that's all to say, the one thing I understand is that disruption is bad for kids, but consistency is good for kids. And so right now we're looking at disruption in virtual, which is consistently disruptive, not great, but it's consistent. And then we're looking at blended, which is inconsistent disruption. And so I come at the angle from that too, from the educator angle. And so that's really the heartburn I'm feeling is twofold. And again, look, I'm going to go, I'm going to work to make it good. And I hope it will be good, man. I do. But I have concerns.
Well, you have concerns, but I feel like it's an outright betrayal, quite honestly. What's the use of playing these games and coming up with all of these protocols last year if here we are at purple when it's more contagious than ever, more people are being infected than ever, and at this point you want to have the kids go back to in-school learning. A vaccine is on the way, but they want, your colleagues want our children to go back to school before the staff has even been properly vaccinated. Could you make this again? I appreciate your candid, you being so candid and telling us how you feel about it. It's very, very important. But I'm trying to make this make sense. I don't understand why. What's the major push to have the kids go back to school before the staff is even vaccinated?
That is the question, and I'll continue to be candid. And I don't know, because I don't feel that sense of urgency. I do believe that my colleagues feel it is best to have the students back in school. Of course, I think we all do. The safety precautions we've taken, I believe, they feel good about. And so again, it's hard for me to, talk about what their thought process is, as I hope you understand. So I'm wary to do that, but I do believe they have the best interest of the kids in mind, and they think this is best. I just happen to be on the other side of that.
Well, I've reached out, and a couple of your colleagues have responded. So I'm set to have those conversations with those individuals. So, I'll put the question to them, but I'm just looking for answers. To me, it needs to make sense to me. We're 4 months away from the end of the school year. Why would we risk it even before? So I can see March 1st. That to me as a parent makes more sense. You got a whole month. You can let the staff get vaccinated. Okay, March 1st. But I, for the life of me, cannot understand why we would go through all of these things, come up with protocols, run through the protocol, ignore the protocols, and then have our babies, have the future of our city go back into in-person learning before the teachers, who I've read, many teachers are very concerned and upset as well because they haven't been vaccinated. So I just have a lot of questions for your colleagues, Mike. I really appreciate it. And there was something about the 6 feet rule. You brought this up on Saturday. You said, are we now disregarding the 6 feet rule? What is that? What happened with that?
Well, I heard, so I was not in person, due to the purple status of the county. I was the only remote person at the meeting. And I thought I had heard, and I did, but I thought I had heard folks talking about abandoning the 6 feet rule and how we could, because Walnut Hills, no matter what, is staying remote. And I think that's when this came up, and it was referenced a couple times about, well, at 3 feet, we can bring them back. At 3 feet, we can bring them back. And that's when I raised my hand and I was like, whoa, when did we decide to do that? And then, of course, the air was cleared and it was decided, no, nobody decided to do that. So yeah, that was, that's what happened on Saturday. And I'll tell you this too, you referenced the questions that you're looking forward to asking, hopefully today. And send my love to my colleagues when you talk to them. I've already talked to a couple myself today. But I intend to ask some of these questions again tonight as well. And, we have a board meeting at 4 p.m. Everyone can tune in. It's on my Facebook page, so feel free to take it. Or you know what, Nathan, I'll just shoot it to you when I get off the phone so you have it and can show it to listeners. We have a board meeting tonight at 4 p.m. and I intend to ask some of those questions again. And even though I kind of feel like a broken record or a pain in the butt or a thorn in the side, I think this is important, and this is a big moment in our lifetimes, and it's not a time to just sort of be passive. Again, if we can prevent unnecessary death, so that our kids can learn, to your point, the future of the city. So I'll shoot you that link when we get off.
Okay, Mike, thank you so much for your time, and I'll be in contact. Thank you.
No problem.
Yep, that's Mike Morosky. And so we get into the, like I said, I need some answers. And we ain't going to forget this election time, because some of these board members are up for re-election. Why in the fuck would I vote for somebody that's not representing the health of my children? Y'all must have lost y'all fucking minds. There's just no way in the world. There's no way in the world. There's no way you're going to, again, maybe I'm missing something. Let me leave that door open. I don't want to say I got it all figured out, because I do not. I want to hear it first before I go all forming Voltron, okay? I want to hear it first. But I'm telling you, I'm trying to understand how this makes sense. So y'all came up with all these fancy protocols and all this stuff you're going to do, and then you just shoot right past this, and Hamilton County's in the purple? Why? The governor said March 1st. Why are we doing February 1st? Why? Who is really running the school board? Who are they really listening to? What is the force that's pushing them? But again, I can get into my feelings about this real quick, but I'm not going to do that, because I love the babies. I love the babies. All right, but I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna simmer down now. As my former colleague Ken Anderson, who can't stand my guts these days, used to say, I'm gonna simmer down now, and I'm gonna chill, because I don't have all the information. I don't want to act like I do. I am just a concerned parent and a journalist who was looking for answers, and I want to try to give a safe space to hear those answers. I'm sure that it makes sense. I'm sure it does, family. But again, let's go to something else. I'm looking forward to this, man. I'm looking forward to this. Like I said, I'm all about Black excellence. I love these stories. We got Tanika, who's one of the Choppers, and her lovely daughter, Giselle. If I'm saying it's mispronouncing it, they're on Zoom. I'm bringing them on right now. Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Hello.
Hello. How are you? Did I pronounce her name right, Giselle? Giselle?
Yes.
Hey, how you doing? We're having some connection issue. There it is. It's kind of catching up a little bit. And if this continues, Tanika, what I would say is it might be better to give me a call. It might work better that way. Although, damn, I wanted to have you up on the screen and promote your new book and everything that's going on. Yeah, I'm definitely getting some connection issues there on my end. I tell you what, can you? Let's try this. Can you leave the stage and come back? Let's try that. Maybe we can reset it. And if not, I would ask you to give me a call this morning.
See.
Okay, I'm going to take them off the screen. I can see you in the background.
Okay.
And just kind of give me a thumbs up if you want. Yeah, okay. So she's going to pull out and come back in again. And sometimes that resets it with the system I'm using, with the software I'm using. If not, then we'll do it by phone, which won't have the same impact, because I want you to see her daughter. This young example of Black excellence, and she is the author of a brand new children's book, and I want to promote them. Again, you support me, I'll support you. I'm on some Trump-ish. Simple as that. If you can't support and you don't support the people that support you, you're a damn fool, and I'm no damn fool. So, and again, I just do it because I want to promote, our culture and what we doing, and it's just so much excellence in the greater Cincinnati area. And I'm 100% about that life. So let's see if we get them back up on the screen here. Okay, so we got them back on the screen here. She's kind of fixing everything. I'm going to pull them back on in a second. Let's try it again. Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, good morning. So we're using my phone, so it's not the same as my computer, but my computer is having some issues, so we apologize.
Okay. Hey, good morning, Giselle. How are you?
Good. How are you?
So I'm doing well. Thank you for making time for us this morning. We appreciate it. So, again, Tanika, we'll start with you, Mom. This is a great story of Black excellence and Black entrepreneurship. But tell us about your daughter and her book.
Well, this amazing 10-year-old, she's a 5th grader at Glendale Elementary. She excels in all her studies. I knew from the time that she was born, and it may seem cliche or maybe a little indifferent, but seriously, I knew that she was special or something was different about her. Even as a baby, like 3 months old, I noticed she would try to like sit up and she started walking before she turned 10 months. And so she's always been, to me, ahead of the curve as far as kids her age. So she's really special. She's an only child, and one of my friends, she started a young junior authors program. It's for junior authors to get their voices out, for the people, some of the kids in Cincinnati, to get their voices out. And when I say this has been an awesome experience, and what I love most about it is it was all her. Like, she would be like, "Mom, I got to be at the class," and it just gave them an opportunity to just to have a voice. And so she wrote this book, and I was just amazed. I knew she was bright, but just to see her thoughts on paper, I'm like so blown away. So I'm so excited. And Nathan, we just want to thank you for the opportunity. You know, we're big Nathan Ivey fans from day one, even on the radio, day one, you already know. So just thank you for the opportunity just to share my book.
Oh, absolutely. And send me a link. I'm going to push it even more. Oh, most def. So, hey, Giselle, tell us about your book. What's the title? What's the book all about?
The title is The Special Forest, and is about a girl named Zoe. She's lost in the forest, and while reading, you'll figure out where this journey will take her and who she will meet.
And what inspired you to write the book?
Well, in class all the time we would have breaks, and we would be able to write and just make little stories. So what I would do is I would sit in the corner on a beanbag and just write just little stories of my thoughts.
And who was the audience for your book? Who did you write the book in mind for?
What ages? Oh, for maybe about 7 and above. Yeah.
So this is your first book, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
But have you been writing like your whole life?
I would say so.
Is that something that you can see yourself doing as you get older?
Yes. And what else?
Okay.
And also, as well as being a pediatrician, as it says in the back.
Oh, that is so dope. I love that. Let me read that. Put that back up. Let me read that. That is so dope. Giselle is a 10-year-old girl with a huge imagination. She loves math, making new friends, and spending time with her family. When she isn't writing, she enjoys singing and dancing, playing Roblox, making slime and TikTok videos. When Giselle grows up, she wants to be a pediatrician. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I salute you, Giselle. I love that. Where can people purchase the book? Where can we purchase your book?
You can purchase it on Amazon.com, or you can get it online on Kindle.
I love it. Now, is this the first of many books? Do you feel like you have some more books inside of you to bring to the world?
Yes.
Yeah. The book, just a little insider. Tell them about the book at the end. It has a what?
It has a cliffhanger. Like a
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and what's amazing is that even some adults are like, "Oh my God, we want to know what happens next." So it's one of those books. Like I said, when I read it, I was like, "Wow!" I know she was a smart kid, but wow, I was so blown away. Just her thought pattern and how she put things together, I think is amazing. So you can buy it on Amazon.com. Just search or even Google just the Special Force by Giselle Cephas. And I'll also have some copies. They're doing a book signing. The junior authors are doing a book signing it's on the 13th. From 2 to 5, it's over in Evanston, but you can follow her on the Special Force by Giselle Cephas. It's a Facebook page. You can follow her on there for all her updates and things she's going to be doing. She's going to be interviewed on 19 News, as well as they're going to do a book signing at her school. So I'm just really proud of her, and thank you for the push. I'm just glad that somebody, one of the girls who read the book, and they were like, "Oh my God, that's a little girl like me." So it just proves that no matter your age, you can do anything you put your mind to. So.
Well, again, thank you so much. Again, tell us again where we can purchase the book again.
You can purchase it on Amazon.com or on Kindle.
And what's the title again?
The Special Forest.
The Special Forest. That is so dope. I love that, Giselle. Well, thank you for your time. Hey, Tanika, thank you, Mom. I appreciate it. I can see the excellence in her eyes. I know she got big things in front of her. And have an excellent rest of your day. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Oh, most deaf. I love it. I'm all about that. That black excellence from the greater Cincinnati area, that is, I mean, what a great example. And I meant what I said. I could see it in her eyes. Couldn't you? I could see that focus. I ain't joking. I used to, in the earlier life, worked in youth development with CPS in a partnership. And for a couple of years, I worked with their gifted students. So I know what I'm talking about. I can see it in the eyes. There's a focus there. That is beautiful. I loved it. I loved it, man. You know, I'm getting me some copies. You already know. My son I'll be reading that book to him. I want him to see the back cover. I want my daughter to see it. You don't have to be a grown-up to start a business. You don't have to be a grown-up to have an impact. You know, you could start young. And Tanika said she could see the excellence in her when she was really, really young. Oh, that's beautiful, man. That's a great way to segue from the conversation we had with Mike Morosky, which is part of the reason why my blood boils. Like I told you, want to get me pissed off? Do something with our babies, with our seniors, with handicapped people, anything around there. I'm just subject to you're gonna see another side of me. You know what I'm saying? I try to be a good guy, but it's just some things I have no toleration for. And so that's a great story right there. That is a beautiful story. I love it. And just the power, the example of being a published author. And it's easier today to become a published author than ever before. So, you know, I would go so far as to say, I can't speak for anybody, but I bet you there's some grown-ups out there. You got a good book inside of you. You dope with the words. Your thoughts is super, super ill. You got it inside of you. You just haven't carved out the time to really make it happen. You can do it. Who said your book had to be 200 pages long? It don't have to be 200 pages long. It just has to be however many pages it is. It's impactful, page to page. It can be 25 pages. Boom. And I wonder what that's like. I got a book inside of me. I wonder what that's like to, you know, have your bookshelf and then you can see your name on your own book. So thank you for your time this morning, Tanika. I really appreciate you blessing the show with that black excellence this morning. She just said, here's the link. Okay, great. What a beautiful story. I love it. That's the reason why I go so hard for the family. That's the reason why I go so hard on these issues when it relates to our children. That's the reason why I go so hard when I talk about CPS and this pandemic. It's for Giselle's. It's for my son, your son. Somebody got to do it. Somebody got to put themselves out there. It's got to be me. It's just going to have to be me. All right. That's a beautiful story. Beautiful. I love it. You can find her. Hold on. I'm finding it right now. Sending me links. I want to share the links with you right now because I know that you're super interested. And I want to make sure that I do my due diligence. And got to thanking me. Thank you. Shoot, I thank you. Copy link address. Okay, great. So I got the link address. I'm going to put this in the stream this morning. And if you're interested, you can check it out for yourself. And there it is. There's the stream. There it is. That's a beautiful story. I love it. I'm about that life. I just want to stop right there on such a good note. So I just want to say thank you to all of the folks that listen to the show today. I really appreciate my guests for chiming in, everybody on the stream, all the people that shared the stream. We just getting started with CDM. Our mission is real simple. 3 words: amplify Black voices. That is our mission with CDM. And of course, we'll be providing much more. But that is the mission. That's why we're doing this. That's why I do this. And I love doing it. So shout out to Greg Landsman this morning. I really appreciate his time. Member of City Council for giving us some information, some insight. He is an elected official. And also shout out to Mike Morosky this morning. He is an elected official, just sharing a few minutes with us, 10 minutes of his time. These are very busy people. They don't have to come on this show. So I really appreciate it. Also shout out to our sponsor, the Wellburn Experience. I know you want to hear that jingle, don't you? Here it is. Well, hold on a second. Let's make sure we connect it and you can actually hear it before we do that. But check this out.
It's that well-born experience. It's that well-born experience. That well-born experience. 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 It's that well-born experience. That well-born experience. That well-born experience. Experience. Tell us what you need. That's the question we start with. We specialize selling condos, houses, apartments. Make sure that you happy with your residence. Keep it real, no filter. Oh, it's the realtor from the nattiest heaven sent. It's the well-born experience. Ain't nothing like it. Every time he talk to his client, he's so excited just knowing he able to put them in a place to lay their head. Not focusing on his profits, but on the client instead. Right. He keeps it so professional and from his conversation. You can tell he studies before sharing information. Educated, motivated, ain't nobody better. Who's willing to walk you through every step to relieve the pressure. Yeah, and just so you know it's real, you get a special personalized rug once he closes the deal. So go and call him up so he can get you live. 513-252-1055.
Check them out. Looking for a new spot? Check out the Wellborn Experience. All right. And again, a great way of supporting me and this platform is supporting those that support me and this platform. Support our sponsors. And that is Black owned. All right. That's my time, family. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. I'll be back in hopefully better than ever tomorrow morning. I'm not sure. I'm not planning on going live. I know everybody's going to be going live today, and they should, doing the whole inauguration thing. I may go live if there's some reason to go live. You know what I'm saying? If these domestic terrorists decide to go crazy again, I may go live, and we'll talk about it while it's happening in real time. All right. So again, thank you so much for being here, everybody. Have an excellent rest of your day. I'll be back with you again bright and early tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. All right. Viva La Chapas. I'm Nathan Ivey, and I'm out.
Can I dance for you? Would that be cool? Can I dance for you? Would that be cool? Butterflies in my stomach, butterflies in my chest. Heartbeat like a bird that's humming. Trust your words cause you know me best. Let's take a walk down a brick road. Click your heels and you'll be there. I want you, do you want me to? Once you hear the rhythm playing, promise you won't be complaining. I'll be here for you if it's for you. Once my body gets to swaying, promise you won't be complaining. And I'll be saying, yeah. Can I dance for you? Would that be cool? Can I dance for you? Would that be cool? Yeah. Beautiful girls are common, funny girls are real sweet. I don't say these words often, loving you has left me weak. But let's take a walk down a brick road, click your heels and we'll be there. I want you, do you want me to? Once you hear the rhythm playing, promise you won't be complaining. I'll be here for you if it's for you. Once my body gets to swaying, promise you won't be complaining. And I'll be saying, yeah, yeah. Can I dance for you? Would that be cool?